Maria, over to you.
Yes, so first of all, I want to welcome everybody. Thanks for coming, thanks for joining. I know there will be some other coming in a couple of minutes. However, we have such a plenty agenda today that we better start on time. So first of all, welcome to our award ceremony event. And as I said, for why I repeat just for those who are coming now, we put everybody on mute just for the sake of a good recording. However, please use the functionality chat. I'm going to ask a couple of applause from you in a few minutes, so please be ready and energized to start this event. Put yourself on camera if you can, and let's just start with the agenda slide. So we have an exciting agenda today. We will start by celebrating all of you who joined the Best Practice Sharing Initiative. Then we will hear directly from our first 3 awarded suppliers. And in the order they are Ralca, Thermo Fisher and Laurus Labs, who will share their outstanding stories that I'm sure will inspire us all. After the 3 stories, we will have Q&A time, so please don't be shy and be ready to ask questions and to interact with our presenters today. And last but not least, we will touch upon the next sessions in the upcoming new year. This said, we can go to next slide. So to start with, I just want to share that when we launched this initiative in September, together with Rob, we were also just regrouping the SPP Pharma chapter. And in full transparency, we could have not hoped and expected any better response from you all. We had more than 75 stories shared by 70 companies, all extremely interesting, to the point and inspiring, so that honestly it was hard to make a selection and pick just a few. So before we talk about anything else, I would like all of us to give a big round of applause for your participation, your engagement, and the passion we could touch by reading your stories. Please use the functionality that we have in Teams and give us a great round of applause to everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me try to react myself, can I? Yes. Let's use the... I need to see that, I can't see that many. Are you giving an applause to everybody? Use the reaction mode. And
lots of applause coming in, Maria. Lots of applause coming in, which is great to see. So thank you, everybody. There's a couple of people putting hands up instead of applauding. We're going to assume those are applause at the moment. But
and again, it's what we mean, everybody. So that's thanks.
It's
everybody.
And thanks
great to see that. In the meantime, we are more than 100 in this call today. So I just want to touch now on how did we come to these awarded names. First, we recognized that sustainability is not just for big companies, and that decarbonization initiatives can vary by the size of the organization. So that's why we wanted and we thought that it would be good to award smaller, medium companies like maybe Ralca and Laurus, as well as the large Thermo Fisher, which we are awarding today. Also, we wanted to select different type of cases to have a sense of the variety of programs that can be put in place within the sustainability sourcing umbrella. Again, this is all to inspire us. So we selected 3 cases that you will hear us from today, other 3 in January that Rob will reveal in a few minutes. But many, many more are so great that we are still finalizing the final review, and we expect that at least 35 up to 40 maybe additional cases will be published in the guide, which is within the SPP Pharma link, SPP link that we are going to share at the end. You will see on the links, we will share where to find all these cases, because it's so interesting that we thought it's for the benefit of the full community. In the upcoming months, you're going to see many more cases you can read and be inspired from. And I want to thank again the opportunity to thank Christine and Rachel from my and Rob's team respectively, who have taken this massive job of these cases evaluation. Last, I want to give a special thanks to all of us who are joining today, not only those who have shared their cases, but also those who are joining today for the sake of learning and hearing and being inspired by these great decarbonization stories, as at the end, this is our ultimate goal of this initiative: spark ideas that can be potentially replicated by others who don't know exactly where to start from. These are the ideas, these are potential things that others were successful to do. You can take it from there and customize your own initiative. And all of that for an healthier world altogether. This is what we want to do at SPP. This is for procurement colleagues with procurement colleagues. So let's take another second to give a round of applause to everybody who are on the line today. Thank you all. And with that, the floor is yours, Christina.
Thank you. So let's shine a light on the reason we're all here today. We will be showcasing best practices presented by 3 different organizations. As Maria said, we have reserved time for the end of the session for Q&A, so please write any questions you have in the chat and we will address them at the end. First, we have a case study from Ralca presented by Sandra Paulina Reyes Sánchez and Diego Ramirez de Aguilar. They will discuss, and apologies on my accent, they will discuss how to incorporate various efforts for a more sustainable world. We will see how even smaller and medium-sized organizations can have an actual impact on the planet. Next, we have Matthew Yamatin from Thermo Fisher that will talk about the highly relevant topic for all of us of renewable energy and how we can speed up its adoption with customers and with suppliers. Finally, Srinivasa Rao Manikyala from Laurus Labs will share an innovative initiative on energy conservation and circular economy, including collaboration with another neighboring organization. So we can begin with the first case study presented by Sandra and Diego. The floor is yours. Can you share your slides?
Of course, Christina. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Let me share my screen.
Everyone.
Can you see my screen now?
We can, yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna try to hide this if I can't. Yeah, well, I tried it. Well, first of all, good morning, everyone. My name is Diego Ramirez Aguilar, and I am the Senior Director of Financial Planning and Sustainability at Ralca. I'm thrilled to have this opportunity to share our sustainability journey with you today. Let me see. Here. Joining me is Paulina Reyes, our Human Resource Manager, who has been instrumental in aligning our workforce with our sustainability objectives, making sustainability a core part of our culture. Ralca began operations in 1992 as a wholesale distributor of medicines and vaccines for the government of Mexico. Over the past 32 years, we've grown to become one of the top companies in logistics reach and distribution within the healthcare sector in Mexico. This success has been fueled by our ability to adapt to changes in the industry and implement innovative supply chain solutions. Throughout our history, we've combined advanced logistics systems with cutting-edge technology, ensuring timely coverage across the country. But more importantly, we've embedded sustainability into our operations, which has now become a core value of our business.
At Ralca, we recognize the immense responsibility we have to address the environmental challenges of our time. One of the most critical areas of concern for us lies in our supply chain. Approximately 60% of our greenhouse gas emissions are attributed to our distribution suppliers. This reality has driven us to focus our efforts on reducing Scope 3 emissions, which represent the indirect emissions that occur across our value chain. Tackling Scope 3 emissions is not a small task. It requires collaboration, innovation, and the alignment of priorities. Supply chains are inherently complex, but we see this as an opportunity to lead by example and inspire others to take action. In 2024, we achieved a significant milestone. Our greenhouse gas reduction targets were validated, approved, and published by the Science Based Targets Initiative. This validation provided us with a structure and science-backed roadmap to address our emissions comprehensively. By 2030, we aim to significantly reduce emissions from our direct operations, energy usage. Looking further ahead, we have set the ambitious goal of reducing Scope 3 emissions by 2050. This commitment is not just a technical framework for us. It represents a pivotal moment where sustainability became embedded in our long-term strategy and decision-making processes. We acknowledge that sustainability cannot be achieved in isolation. It's a collaborative effort requiring partnership and shared commitments. Through this journey, we hope not only improve our environmental footprint, but also serve as an example for other organizations seeking to implement bold science-based sustainability goals. We have a sustainability committee, and this sustainability committee includes leaders from our organization and also our principal supplier with key positions in finance, logistics, HR, and quality assurance. It drives efforts through 3 pillars: sustainable business, world division, and talent division. The sustainable business pillar integrates sustainability into our business operations. The world division tackles global environment challenges, and the talent division ensures our workforce is aligned with these goals. Collaboration with key suppliers has enabled solutions like hybrid fleets and renewable energy. The committee's diverse expertise, strategies, and impactful outcomes.
Well, so a little bit of our key initiatives, right? So over the past decade, we've implemented impactful sustainability projects aimed at reducing our environmental footprint. And here are some of the highlights. The first one is the solar panels. We transitioned to a renewable energy by installing solar panels at our facilities. Actually, today, 95% of the energy at our Naucalpa facility and 22% at our Lerma Logistics Center comes from solar power, significantly cutting Scope 2 emissions and reducing our reliance on traditional energy sources. The second one is energy storage system. To enhance efficiency, we introduced an energy storage system that stores surplus solar energy for use during peak hours. This doesn't only reduce grid demand, but also stabilizes our energy supplies and lowers costs. The third is water management. Through rainwater collection and water treatment systems, we've become self-sufficient in water resources for up to 3.5 months annually, reducing overall consumption by 18%. And this reflects our commitment to resource efficiency and addressing water scarcity. The fourth is hybrid vehicles. By partnering with our distributor providers, we integrated hybrid vehicles into our fleet, improving fuel efficiency and lowering emissions. In 2023, This initiative earned our partner the Clean Transportation Certification from Mexico's Ministry of Environmental and Natural Resources. The fifth, which one I think is really important, is the employee-driven reforestation. Sustainability is a shared responsibility, and in 2024, we launched a reforestation program led by our employees, planting 500 trees in August. And this program will grow yearly, highlighting the impact of collective efforts. Now, why does these actions matter? These initiatives form a cohesive sustainability strategy, addressing energy, water, waste, and transportation, while also fostering environmental stewardships within Ralca and beyond.
And some of our results in environmental impact, our sustainability efforts, results that underscore our commitment to reducing our environmental footprint. We've managed to prevent the emissions of 2.3 tons of CO2 each month, which is equivalent to planting 620 trees monthly. This milestone is a testament to how focused actions can lead to significant outcomes. These results are just the start. They lay a strong foundation as we move under the Science-Based Targets Initiative and Net Zero Initiative, including significant reductions in Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions by 2030 and Scope 3 by 2050.
So some recommendations and lessons learned all in the way. First is start with a culture of environmental care. Meaningful sustainability begins with fostering a culture of care. Engaging employees and stakeholders in a shared vision helps create momentum. When everyone understands why sustainability matters, they naturally become advocates for change. Also, we learned that forming a sustainability committee with leaders from different departments and key partners was crucial. This diversity of perspectives allowed us to develop innovative, practical solutions and share responsibility across the organization. Using frameworks like PSCI and EcoVadis gave us clear insight into our progress and help us guide our next steps. These tools provide credibility and help align efforts with international best practices. And, well, involving your team, right? Our reforestation program showed us how involving employees directly in sustainability initiatives builds both impact and pride. People who are part of the solution become ambassadors for change. And before concluding, we would like to take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude to Pfizer, our esteemed commercial partner. Your continued support and encouragement have inspired us to strive for excellence and to push the boundaries of what we can achieve together. So thank you for believing in our vision and walking this journey with us.
We also want to extend our deepest thanks to Sustainable Procurement Pledge for honoring us with this incredible recognition. This award represents a shared commitment to building a more sustainable future. Sustainable Procurement Pledge is just not an organization. It's a movement that inspires companies like ours to think critically, act responsibly, and collaborate boldly to address global challenges.
And I just want to let everybody know that at Ralca, sustainability is a core value that shapes everything we do. Thank you all for giving us the opportunity to share our journey, and we look forward to continuing this conversation. Together, we can make a meaningful impact. We are more than happy to answer any questions or provide further details on our initiatives.
Thank you so much, Diego. Thank you, Sandra. Let me just share back my screen. This was a very inspiring story. It's great to see you advancing so fast in your sustainability journey. So on this stage, let me just move to the next slide where I can welcome Matthew. Matthew, can you hear us?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Can you share your slides?
I will go ahead and do that.
Thanks so much.
All right. First off, just want to thank the SPP and AstraZeneca and Pfizer for this wonderful kind of pulling us all together, bringing together these best practices. For those who are not aware, Thermo Fisher, I think most of you probably know who we are, kind of end-to-end supporting pharma deliver on their mission to support the health of the world, essentially. But when we talk about sustainability, I love the presentation that was just before me, and I think I want to put out one thing, if I can, is this concept of sharing. I know for Thermo Fisher, we weren't the best, most sustainable company, I would say a decade ago. It wasn't necessarily a high priority for us then. But what happened is we saw the importance of it to our customers. They really communicated to us and said, hey, this is important to us. This is what we're doing. How can we help you? How can we incentivize you to get there? And through practices like this, I think that really create a sea change in Thermo Fisher, and it sounds like it's creating a sea change with other suppliers. So I'm really looking forward to kind of this continuing momentum. I think that's really being built. Because at the end of the day, I always say the bigger Thermo Fisher is, we can't do it alone. I know AstraZeneca can't do it alone. Pfizer can't do it alone. We have to do this together. So that's really going to be the core of my case study here. So what we found was renewable electricity really has the power to move the needle very quickly. It is scope 2, and scope 2 can be fairly large for a lot of companies. So, how do we really accelerate that? And not just at Thermo Fisher, but how do we, because of this, I guess I'll go to the problem statement. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but the problem statement here is, again, renewable electricity, very big lever. We need to accelerate it to achieve the climate targets that we've all set for ourselves, that the globe has set for itself around 1.5 C. But we know that there are challenges. There's limited awareness of what options does a company have of varying sizes. So a large company might have different options than a small company, but how do we really bridge that gap? And then to a large degree, there's this low accessibility to what we call these power purchasing agreements. So basically going to a developer and saying, hey, I want to partner with you. You're going to build a big project. How do I support that? How do I be part of that? Generally, historically, it was only the Metas, the Googles, the Microsofts that could do that. We really want to say, how do we get that? How do we get that to everybody, regardless of the size of your company? So that's really the problem statement. So what did Thermo Fisher do? The first thing that we did, and I think this was instrumental, is we actually set a target. So I don't want to. I want to kind of lay that as a foundation where to have a target is very critical for an organization because it allows basically this alignment with leadership and everybody else in the company that this is the right thing to do. I would say without that, Thermo Fisher wouldn't have been as successful. But let's get into the actual action plan that we created after creating that target. So for us, again, Thermo Fisher is very large. We could have gone in by ourselves and worked with developers and done a lot of these projects. But we felt that that's not going to accelerate renewable electricity across our value chain. It would be kind of acting in silo. So what we made is the intentional decision. How do we utilize our experience in these deals, our scale, because again, we are big, and the fact that we have a strong financial credit, how can we enable others along our value chain to engage in this market that otherwise is sometimes difficult to engage in? So the first example of this was back in late 2022, it got announced in 2023. We invited Eurofins to join us in what is now the Cerebral Solar Virtual
Matthew, sorry, do you have any slides to share? Because I don't know if it is just me, but I just see the first slide, the title. Is it not? Just me? I don't know if it is just me.
No, I can just see the title slide too.
Okay, so it's not rotating. Interesting.
Maybe stop sharing and share again, Matthew. The old techniques. Just Suresh, if you've got a question, if you want to put it in the chat for now, we'll answer the question after the three presentations. Thank you.
Christina, if Matt maybe he has some internet issues and with frozen,
Yeah, it looks like
share.
Matthew may have frozen.
Why don't you share his slide, and then while he talks, maybe.
Certainly. Matthew, can you hear us?
I think he's frozen for now, but let's see.
It's frozen. Okay, let me at least share my screen.
Yeah. In Italian, we say that this is the beauty of the direct, when things just happen on, just on the line.
Yep.
This is what happens, but it's all fine.
Can you see the slides?
Yes. So this was the problem statement he was talking about. And let's see now if Matthew can join us again.
Let's give him a minute to see if he can dial back in. Otherwise,
yeah. Otherwise, we could.
The team from Laurus, if you're ready to dive in, if Matthew doesn't join us again in a minute, if the Laurus team are ready to present.
Let's just see the recommendations at least. If Matthew cannot join.
I'm sure he'll join back in a moment, but sometimes it might take him a few minutes to connect back in.
So why don't we go with Laurus maybe? And then we can do the ThermoFisher at the end. Hopefully he has more time to join back.
Yep. So we'll just stop sharing.
Yeah.
And Srinivasa, can you hear us? Could you share your slides so that we can see your case study? Thank you so much.
Put video on.
Yep.
Video.
We can see your screen, Srinivasa.
Hi.
Yeah, all good.
Hi, everyone. Greetings for the day. My name is Srinivasa Rao Manikyala, working as Assistant Vice President, EHS and Sustainability. And now I came with an interesting case study on the circular economy. First of all, thank you very much for SPP selecting as the winner of this prestigious best practices sharing initiative. Thank you all organizers and co-chairs of this event. And I thank our management for encouraging us to participate in this prestigious event. Also thank Pfizer team for inviting us and they taken close follow-up with us. These two slides, coming to these two slides, whatever initially provided to SPP on the entire case study in brief. Now for better demonstration and flow, I prepared a few more slides and we will move to the slides. Coming to introduction of Laurus Labs. Laurus Labs is a research-driven pharmaceutical manufacturing organization and has been developing and assisting its client organizations to succeed in innovative medicines that globally enhance the health outcomes for patients. Since our inception in 2005, we have been developing and manufacturing APIs and intermediates. We quickly scaled our pharmaceutical value chain by attaining a global leadership position in APIs, including ARV, oncology, cardiovascular, and gastrotherapeutics. Our position was strengthened by our backward integration capability while remaining highly regulatory compliant across all our operations. We have 55 R&D laboratories. Basically, this is a research-driven company, and we have 12 manufacturing sites, 90 plus APIs we are currently manufacturing, 6,500 plus a passionate team of laureates, and 790 plus scientific professionals we have, and 7 plus million liters of the reactor capacity, and 322 patents filed, and 300 plus customers, 20 plus countries served. Our organization recognized as Great Place to Work, Fortune 500 company, Best workplace in biotechnology and pharmaceutical company. We have many regulatory approvals from different countries, and all our units certified under management systems like 9001, 14001, 45001, and 15001. This is a brief introduction about our organization. Coming to this present case study, primarily everyone need to understand the difference between the products versus waste. What is inputs of the particular reaction, what we are taking, and at the end of the stage, how much we are getting, and what is the quantity of waste. Is there any possibility to recover some usable materials from this waste? That is very important thing now every industry need to explore. Yeah, coming to this, Laurus Labs is executing environmental protection and circular economy initiatives with the name of Laurus Eco Concepts. Here, we named this concept as ECO. The full form of this ECO is Energy Conservation Opportunity. Yeah, this is one case study we implemented in our unit. I am going to present this case study, Waste to Wealth. Yeah, coming to this background of this initiative, we came to know that steam is the process byproduct for one of our neighboring industries where they use it to discharge surplus steam into the atmosphere. Here, all these pharmaceutical industries are located in a common hub, and we monthly, frequently, all these representatives of these industries meet together and discuss environmental, occupational health related, safety related, and sustainability related aspects in the particular meetings. In this context, Laurus Labs approached the neighboring industry and explained the concept of the emissions to economy. During interaction, we understood the quantity of the steam, whatever they are discharging into the environment, may be sufficient to cater almost 50% of our Unit 1 requirement. We also understood this initiative will help us in reducing greenhouse gas emissions by avoiding coal burning and conserving water. Decided to take the initiating steps on priority. We understood this initiative will become ecological and economical. Coming to this initiating steps, both parties came to an understanding and had discussions on the tentative plans of action. We sent a request formally, and the neighboring industry accepted our proposal. Both parties signed the agreement for supply of the steam along with the price decision. Laurus issued the purchase order, obtained the statutory consents, statutory approvals from the authorities, made the pipeline infrastructure between the units to transfer the steam, and started using it. It catered more than 50%, sometimes it is about 70% of the requirement, and the balance 50% got from our in-house boiler. After 6 months, we internally plan to draw the balance 50% steam from our Unit 3. Our Unit 3 is also just adjacent to our Unit 1, so that why we run the boilers in both units. If you run the more capacity boiler in one unit, that will supply this balance 50% steam to Unit 1. Now, our Unit 1 is boiler-free operating plant. It is coal-free unit, no coal. This is the flow diagram, pictorial demonstration on the particular case study. Coming to this this box, this is the neighboring industry where they are doing their process. That is a highly exothermic reaction. Due to some confidential issues, I respect their confidentiality issues. I don't want to discuss more details on this process. But however, this highly exothermic process will evolve water. Water is the byproduct, and it will come out at high pressure at 20 bar. This steam is routed to a turbine, and from this turbine, the electricity will generate, and electricity, whatever they required for their plant, they build their building and plant, they use it, and the rest they release it to the grid. They connect it to the grid. And earlier, this high pressure stream, after this turbine, this is released into the environment, atmosphere at low pressure 10 bar. During our discussions, after completion of these agreements, we taken this steam into the Laurus Labs Limited. This is the pictorial diagram. Yeah, outcome of this initiative. we achieved the following benefits from utilizing this waste stream in FY24. The efforts reduced global warming by avoiding 42,594 metric tons per annum of steam released into the atmosphere. Steam release was stopped, and which in turn helped in conserving water about 43,872 kiloliters per annum. And coming to this scope 1 emission reduction, avoided coal consumption up to 11,075 metric tons per annum, and which in turn helped in reduction of GHG emissions about 15,947 metric tons per annum. Coming to the scope 2 emission reduction, conserved 5,96,320 kilowatt electricity, which is required to operating the boiler. Now there is no boiler operations, so that this entire electricity saved by us. And the emissions, because of the scope 2 emission reduction is also happened because of this electricity conservation. And also proudly state that conserved electricity and water can serve approximately 3,000 houses for a period of 1 month uninterruptedly, creating better air quality. Yeah, this is the complete quantitative information, whatever I discussed in the previous slide, clearly mentioned. With this, we achieved we created circular economy by collaborating with the neighboring industry. And finally, all these figures, whatever I mentioned in the previous slide, are ecological related. Finally, it is also economical. We saved approx 3.55 crores per annum. It is about 35.5 million Indian rupees per annum. Yeah, this particular initiative, circular economy initiative, earlier recognized by many reputed organizations like International Conference on Sustainability Waste Management Excellence Award, which is received, and Green Tech Environment Award received, and Confederation of Indian Industry Southern Region EHS Excellence Award also received for the year 2022. Now, one more recognition from the prestigious SPP. Now you are also recognized as. Thank you very much. Yeah, definitely we believe creativity is making marvelous out of the discarded. Thank you for standing up for the planet. The journey is continuous, and still we are working on the many initiatives, eco concepts, few more initiatives we already executing, and few more initiatives under development stage. Thank you very much. I'm happy to answer your questions.
Thank you. It was a very inspiring and innovative initiative. Hopefully it can potentially be replicated by other organizations as well. And now I see that I cannot share. Just a second. I will reshare.
So Matt is back on the line.
Yes.
So we can have Matt taking the screen and continue his presentation.
Perfect.
Certainly.
Thank you. And apologies for the IT difficulties.
Of course.
Can you all see the screen? Can we confirm this time?
Not yet, but yes, now yes.
Yep.
Yeah, yes. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna just quickly roll through. So I mentioned the problem statement. Need to accelerate renewable electricity to hit climate targets. Limited awareness around options. Low accessibility. So, what's the action plan and outcome? I was mentioning that we take the intentional decision to go ahead and kind of share our experience, our size, to help others. We first did this with Eurofins back in 2023. What we call Cerbal Solar is a big solar power facility in Spain. Basically invited them to join us, use a little bit of our expertise, and it kind of helped them through their first process. That one was announced in 2023. We then subsequently, we decided to join the Energize cohort. You probably have heard of the Energize cohort or Energize program. Amazing put together of, I think it's now 20 plus of the pharma industries kind of come together and say, again, how do we spread the message? We decided to join and lead a cohort. And again, we're doing another VPA in Spain. I can't announce it. It'll be announced probably early next year. But really, we provided some of our expertise with our treasury teams and other teams that have gone through this process, and how can we help others who are new to the process. And finally, we've created a supplier guide that really, the intent here is how can we connect some of the seasoned renewable advisors that we've worked with our own suppliers who are new to this. Again, trying to basically extend that circle of knowledge wider. Overall, the impact was in combination with us and the partners who have gone on with some of these projects, we've added a terawatt hour of new renewables to the grid. That's a lot of power. That's a lot of power, and it ultimately is going to reduce over 200,000 tons of CO2 each year. And then finally, some of the learnings and recommendations we have of this. I mentioned this first. Make sure you set a target. Everything kind of leans off that in terms of getting the buy-in internally to justify the effort, the cost, and the risk associated with these type of programs. Next with your value chain partners with experience. If you're new to this, many of your value chain partners will be eager to help you, eager to share their learnings. So if you're new, reach out to somebody, whether it's it's up your chain or down your chain, who's done one of these projects before. If your company's small or new to VPAs, consider joining a buying cohort. The Energize program is a great way to do that, but there are other advisors that put together cohorts as well. So that's one big example of really nobody's too small at this point to start trying to be part of these new projects. And as you learn, please share and support your own value chain. So as you become the experienced person, how can you cascade that across and up your value chain? A little bit of recognition there to the multifunctional team that made the acceleration possible for us. So we had our executive sponsor, and then we had energy, treasury, finance, accounting, tax, legal, and communication teams. It takes a whole family to get one of these projects across the line. And then visualizing, this is actually what it means in practice. So you see 7 cowboys, one is operational today, that's wind. And then we have the Cerbal Solar and Miller's Branch Solar. Those are being built as we speak and should be coming online next year. So really excited about that, and really our intent to try to accelerate it, not just with ourselves, but across the value chain. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Matthew, especially the recommendations part. I think we can all agree it will be very useful for all. Let me just share back my screen, although I don't think that we have that many questions. If you can just post any questions you have in the chat so we can address them. And I will just
have Rachel.
Yep.
Yeah.
I will invite Rachel. So Rachel, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Christina, and thank you to all the presenters. I think it was really brilliant to see complete diversity in business location and size, but everyone is aiming towards the same thing ultimately. So we had a couple of questions from the SPT team just to start things off. One of them was from Christina to Laurus Labs. It says, without, of course, disclosing numbers, will the savings coming from the energy conservation cover the cost of the infrastructure in a short period of time, for example, within a few years?
One second. Yeah, you please ask me the question more clearly. I am not getting exactly.
Yeah, so Christina's question was around the economics of the program. So without, of course, you don't need to disclose the numbers, but she was interested to know, will the cost savings that come from the energy conservation cover the initial cost of investment in the infrastructure?
Okay, infrastructure related equipment. Yeah, that is nominal. Coming to this infrastructure, that is very nominal. A line between these two units, that will be within the 6 months time. That whatever investment came back.
Brilliant. So 6 months to have the return on investment. Great stuff. Just got a couple more coming in. There is a question to Thermo Fisher. How have partnerships with renewable energy projects like 7 Cowboy Wind and Cerbal Solar contribute to your overall sustainability goals, and what challenges did you face in implementing these initiatives across different regions?
They've been critical to our sustainability goals. If you think about scope 1 and 2, we have a target to hit 50% reduction by 2030. Roughly a little over half is scope 2, so the electricity side, and a little under half of it is scope 1, so the fossil fuel side. We see these projects as being able to really accelerate that scope 2, getting it pretty much to 0, which will basically allow us to hit our target. So these 2 projects and the other 2 that are coming online shortly will essentially be the way that we can hit our 2030 target and potentially early. So massively critical. And then the challenges that we generally face is the newness. So when we started, these projects were very new to our treasury team, to our finance team. So trying to understand and unpack what they mean and the risk associated with them, that was by far the hardest piece. So again, if you can find somebody who's experienced and kind of bring them to inform your treasury team kind of on one-on-one discussions, it really accelerates the learning.
Thank you, Matthew. There's a brilliant question in the chat from Mark for all of the panelists. So before I come to that, I just had a quick question for Ralca, which was around, I'm not overly familiar with the local infrastructure of electric vehicles in Mexico.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if that posed a challenge for your EV rollout in terms of charging. And if it did pose a challenge, how did you overcome that?
Yes, Rachel. Well, thank you. Yeah. Obviously, local infrastructure in Mexico does pose challenges for electric vehicles, particularly with the availability of charging stations across the country. However, we approach this challenge with a strategic mindset. Rather than relying solely on existing infrastructure, we invested in hybrid vehicles as an interim step, right? So this allows us to reduce emissions significantly while maintaining operational flexibility without full dependence on charging infrastructure. But additionally, we've started discussions with partners and suppliers to explore on-site chargings, sorry about that, on-site charging solutions at key logistics hubs, which could eventually support a shift to fully electric vehicles. This phased approach ensures we balance sustainability goals with operationally feasibility, while also advocating for broader improvement in national charging infrastructure.
That makes sense. Thank you, Diego.
Yeah.
And then it looks like this is the last question we have in the chat. So can I suggest that I will ask each of the speakers, but if you can just try and keep your response succinct so we can wrap up in time. The question is from Mark to all of the finalists. It's great to see the progress you have made. I imagine most people would love to emulate. I can certainly agree with that. My question is, what unlocked your ability to take action? Was it an executive sponsor, a company mandate, sheer force of will, or something else? So just because you're the first on my screen, Matthew, could I come to you first?
Sure. To keep it very simple, it's understand what the core why is for you. Why is this important to your company? So for Thermo Fisher, the core why is, as I mentioned, our customers expect it of us. This is not a nice to have, this is a must have. When our CEO was talking with the CEOs of the major pharma companies, when it would always be like, okay, here are the top 3 things that are important. Sustainability would always be one of those top 3. So that cascaded, and that basically defines how we create our program and why it's important for the company. So in a very simple way, figure out the core why of how do you justify these projects, and then lean into that.
Brilliant, thank you. Srinivasa, how would you respond to that question?
Yeah, please. How do you respond to that question?
Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yeah, repeat the question, please.
So what unlocked your ability to take action on your program? Was it that you had senior sponsorship within the organization, or was it perseverance or another factor that allowed you to deliver?
Initially, when the issue came to our notice, the water is a byproduct of the process. Is there any possibility of the contaminants in this particular steam outcome byproduct? And we conducted some analysis on that, and we realized that there is no possibility of any chemical contaminations, as this is coming at the high temperature, and the reaction is also a different reaction, and there is no worry in that. That was one challenge we had by that time. And the second challenge was taking this consents from these statutory authorities. Few authorities encouraged these initiatives. When we are taking this byproduct, 1 units byproduct to another units, there are some regulations, national and state regulations. Getting this approvals also taken some time. This is one more challenge. And after this initiative, and when we are using, sometimes during their production gaps, suppose if there is a production shutdown or production breakdown in their plant, definitely that 50% steam will be stopped from that units. By that time, how can we manage? Definitely another 50% balance will be supplied, will be taken from this in-house generation. But during that time, during difficulties, how can we manage? That was one challenge. And later, when we moved this particular requirement to Unit 3, the capacity was established accordingly, and now it is okay. These are the challenges we faced during the initial stage.
And did you have any challenges in getting CEO sign off of the project, or was it quite easy to do because you had a quick return on investment?
No, not at all. Our CEO is the first person, without any negotiations, he approves the EHSS initiatives. The environment related, safety and occupational related, and sustainability point of view. He is the first person, without any negotiations. He definitely appreciates, and he approves it.
Brilliant. That's great to hear. Thanks, Srinivasa. Yeah. And lastly, Diego and Sandra.
Yeah, so basically at Ralca, what unlocked our ability to act was a combination of strong leadership commitment, clear goals, and teamwork. Our leadership made sustainability a priority, and the creation of our sustainability committee brought together key decision makers to focus our efforts. Also, having a clear roadmap like the targets set by the Science-Based Targets Initiative gave us directions and confidence, and most importantly, it was the collective determinations of our team, from executives to employees, that turned our vision into action.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for sharing. So we're finishing right on time. I think I'm passing back over to Rob and Maria to close out the session.
You are. Thank you, Rachel. And thank you everyone for the questions, and to the presenters for taking us through some really inspiring stories. You know, the power of sharing is really strong. Those stories that have been shared today, I hope all of you can take away. Clearly they've got the recordings as well, and take those into your own organizations and spread the word. That's what SPP is about at the end of the day. It's about sustainable procurement, experts and people getting together to really move us forward towards 2030 goals, be those UN Sustainable Development Goals or company goals. But so that the collective, I think, knowledge that's been shared today, hopefully really valuable for everyone who's taken the time to join. And we've had over 120 people, I think, at the peak joining as well. So, and this is the first of the 2 sessions. But the second award ceremony of the Best Practice Sharing Initiative is coming on the 14th of January, as it says on there. There's a link here to join. I think you'll find that probably also getting circulated on email. And through that, we'll be able to share 3 other cases, QMC Group, Lonza and Steelcase. So looking beyond pharma there to other industry sectors as well, because it's clear that what works in other industry sectors can also be relevant in pharma as well. And obviously that's the focus of this group, being the SPP Pharma chapter. So yeah, look forward to that session on the 14th of January after what hopefully is going to be a good break for everybody over the end of the year. But 3 more cases to inspire you to make change in your own organizations. Next slide, please. And not forgetting, of course, beyond that, at the Equinox in the Northern Hemisphere, World Sustainable Procurement Day. I think the 3rd or 4th year it's running now. Fantastic event. this time over 2 days because of the amount of material that there is available and the amount of sharing and opportunities that and the challenges that people face. Again, great opportunity for knowledge share right around the globe, 24-hour sessions. I think we'll be hopefully featuring maybe more of the Sustainable Procurement Pledge Pharma chapter supplier engagement projects, but I think a very, very broad range of subject matters in there as well, not just an environment, but importantly sustainability in the social value space, human rights, and also in nature. So I think across those three areas, there'll be sessions in the World Sustainable Procurement Day, so get registered now, get that holder in your calendar, put time aside, set up events in your own workspaces and promote in your own procurement communities as well. Next slide, please. And so finishing up, of course, we want to run through the SPP chapter, Pharma chapter, more sessions next year. And to touch on what I just said, actually decarbonisation is absolutely a goal for many of us. But we also have, through regulation, through company goals, through customer expectations, we have a lot of challenges in sustainable procurement and in procurement, also to challenge human rights issues in the supply chain, to look at establishing low impact, zero impact on nature, net gain for nature. So I think across those goals, it'd be great to have suggestions of topics you'd like us to cover in future meetings. As we covered this today, we covered EUDR, EU deforestation regulations in previous presentations. Come forward with suggestions. Join the LinkedIn chapter, perhaps post ideas for sessions in there, or drop the SPP Pharma email a list of suggestions. And most importantly, if you're not part of the SPP community already, do join. So you're in LinkedIn through these sessions, through the SPP Pharma YouTube channel, but also through the SPP web as well. So thank you to all. I think there's one final slide. Yeah, just a thank you. We're heading, for those who celebrated, into Christmas and into, again, this time of year, New Year for those who celebrated at this time of year as well. Wherever you are in the planet, have a fantastic break. I'm sure it's all well-deserved. Sustainable procurement is a challenging but amazing area to work in, an area where we know we can all make a difference, particularly when we all come together on sessions like this. So thank you for your time, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.